All right, it's that time of year again. I wanted to give you guys my finalized updated list of my top 10 most comfortable sneakers of 2023. Hopefully you guys enjoy this list. And something I wanted to point out from the beginning is this is just my personal opinion. Everybody has a difference in opinion. And of course, if you guys have other ones that you guys would like to recommend for other people, leave a comment in the comment section. Always appreciate when you guys do that. But basically my requirements for something that's comfortable, honestly, it's a little crazy because when I try on so many different pairs of sneakers that are on the market, some of them are softer and squishier, and I definitely prefer like a squishier midsole. But nowadays in the super foam era, there are some pairs that are just crazy squishy, like too much squishy feel underfoot for day-to-day casual use. So like some of the stuff might be lower on the list that might have a higher stack of comfort, and some of them might not even be on the list at all because it's just like too crazy. So squishy feel underfoot is just one aspect of what I consider comfortable. The way the tongue fits, as well as the collar padding and stuff like that, also plays a factor, as well as the upper material, the design, the construction overall. Like there's a whole bunch of different things that I look at when I'm kind of determining what I like and what I dislike. And again, my opinion is going to be different than yours. Now I'll try to put some timestamps in the video, as well as I'll link all of the places you could buy all the sneakers I'm going to be talking about in this video. And it is a top 10 list, but there are some alternatives that I'm going to be throwing out because I didn't want to have like 5 different pairs of New Balance and 5 different pairs of Nikes or whatever. I tried to separate them a little bit. But anyways, let's go ahead and get right into it. So the number 10 spot for me goes to the Adidas Ultraboost Light. Now, this is one of those staples in my collection, something that I've talked about a lot through the year. I actually did a video recently showing you guys 5 different versions of the Adidas Ultraboost Light, which features the light boost in this midsole. It's a lighter version, but made with kind of the same firmness of the original Boost compound. It is not the softest and squishiest thing on the market. However, there is a place on my feet for the Adidas Ultraboost line pretty much year round, and they have been improving on the Adidas Ultraboost line year over year, and I appreciate what they've done. Now my favorite version right now is the cold ready version because it has a detached tongue. However, the standard version is just a staple, and I posted these on sale on my social, as well as I've done some videos. You could have got these as low as $67 when they retail at $190. And if you guys actually bought a pair of them or have a pair, leave a comment in the comment section. How do you guys like your Ultraboost Lights? Because I feel it's a very wearable, overall very comfortable pair of sneakers. These also feature the LEP system on the bottom, which gives you like a crazy bounce back when you're walking around in these things, as well as when you're running. I think that this is probably the best running version of the Adidas Ultraboost line so far, as well, for those people that need to actually use them for multiple things like running, walking, running errands. And my pair weighs about 10.5 ounces for those people wondering. But I can't say enough good things about the Adidas Ultraboost line. Honestly, it's just one of those ones that, yes, the retail is really high, but if you get it for a good price, there's a lot of value there in the product that you're getting. And because of all the wearability and the various different versions of the Ultraboost Light, I have this on my countdown at the number 10 spot. And honestly, I can't wait for an updated, refreshed version because it's just something I look forward to every single year. Now, a couple of alternatives I wanted to throw out there as well. You have the Adidas Switch Forward, which has a crazy midsole. And I posted these as low as $50. In fact, I'll link them in the description. Hopefully they're still available on Adidas website for that price point. I did a review on these. Retail is $140, but it definitely is a different sort of Adidas ride that has a nice little soft feel underfoot. And you also have the Adidas 40 Forward version 2. They also have a third version that I reviewed recently on my channel, but this one's a pretty nice one as well. That midsole squish on the heel is really nice for the 40 Forward version. If you've tried the original Futurecrafts, this is the one that is definitely the most comfortable out of the ones that have been released. But just wanted to throw these out as a couple different alternatives. Sometimes you can get these on sale for a pretty good price. I posted them under $100 each, so definitely like that they have nice sales. All right, number 9 on my list, another recurring pair, but one that I definitely wanted to include on this list again, and that's the Hoka Clifton 9. These weigh in at 9.1 ounces, and this is just one of the best Hoka models in my opinion for overall casual comfort. It's one of those shoes that you can wear to Disneyland as well as any vacation. I know a lot of the older crowd wear these as their everyday walking sneakers as well. The build quality is fairly generic on this shoe. There's no real crazy bells and whistles on the shoe, but the overall construction is really solid. The midsole I think is just like an EVA foam. It's no proprietary foam that Hoka has in here. It's lightweight, it's very functional, especially wide foot friendly. The cushioning on the collar and the tongue is pretty average and pretty decent. The overall engineered mesh is again pretty decent and not too much of a change structurally from the 7, 8, and 9. To be honest, if you can get the 8s for a cheaper price, they're really good as well. But the Hoka Clifton 9 specifically is my favorite one, and I've tried quite a few different Hoka models. I've tried the bigger versions of the Bondis, and I didn't really like the Bondis or the Bondis. Even though the stack is bigger on those, it didn't feel softer on my feet personally. The transports were pretty nice as well, but this is the one that I keep going back to every single year. And unless they like go to something better than this, this is going to be the model that I keep bringing back on the videos year over year. Definitely a really great pair, and one that I actually got from my parents as well. I got them the Clifton 8s, and whenever my dad comes over to visit or we go over to his house, he's always wearing the Cliftons. It's really cool to see. But a comfortable shoe earlier in the year, and it maintained its way through the end of the year as well. The next on the list is the Skechers Go Ride 11, and they do have two different versions, one a smaller version and one a bigger version. And honestly, the Ride 11s are the ones that I thought were the best of the two. The bigger ones were just a little bit too big and a little bit too much cushion. I think that the overall functionality and the overall wearability of the Ride 11s were really, really good. And they feature that Hyperburst midsole technology, which is actually really quite nice. I like the icy look for the midsole as well. And again, overall upper on here is pretty nice. The engineered mesh is decent, as well as the cushioning around the collar. I think the biggest stigma that they always have is the fact that it's a Skechers brand sneaker. I do highlight them in the videos because I do think that the technology that they actually have and the overall comfort of the shoes is good. Unbiased opinion, it is good. Biased opinion, I mean, it's Skechers and they rip off a lot of other brands with a lot of their other products. So I wanted to throw that out there as well. All in all, though, it is a really, really solid product. And they do have a walking sneaker version that was actually pretty decent as well that I tried out earlier in the year. All right, number 6 on the list, we have a new one from Nike, and that is the Nike React X Infinity Run 4. So this is a 4th version of the Infinity Run. Infinity usually has Nike React. However, this version features React X, which is kind of a hybrid, I imagine, between Nike React and Zoom X, which I imagine is kind of a hybrid between Nike React and Zoom X. And it does feel pretty soft and overall pretty decent on feet. They do weigh quite a bit at 12 ounces and they do fit really snug. I got a size 10 instead of a 9.5, and even at that, it does fit a little bit snug with this upper. I do like the overall construction. It is Flyknit and it does have a detached tongue. There's some nice padding around the heel as well. It does have a heel shape that is much different than the previous versions, kind of more in line with like the Invincible runs and stuff. But the midsole sculpting is a little bit weird too, because it kind of is incaved this way and then protrudes out this side. So I don't know if I like the design of the midsole. I feel like it's something that they can improve on to make it even a little bit more felt underfoot, because it's a lot on the sidewalls as well, not as much underneath your foot. But overall, very comfortable and very wearable, something you can wear day in and day out, and I think you're going to be pretty happy. It is a little bit snugger, as I mentioned. Some people are going to like that, some people might not. And these run at about $160. And if you're a fan of the Nike products, you tried the Invincible runs and they're a little bit too soft and squishy for your feet, I feel like these are a really good alternative. The alternative to these, if you want something that doesn't have the knit upper but is pretty comfortable, I would go with the Pegasus 40s. I think those are a winner. Now, the number 6 spot on the list went to the Adidas Ultraboost. I feel like this is just one of those shoes that is, first of all, very affordable. I posted these as low as $48. They retailed originally at $190 when I got this pair. They dropped the retail down to $160. And then I posted them on sale as low as like $48. And I feel like at that price point, there's a lot of value in this shoe. The midsole boost actually feels really nice on here. These are softer and squishier on feet, in my opinion, than the Ultraboost Light and the Ultraboost 1.0, so just pointing that out. But the overall comfort on these are actually pretty nice, but they do weigh quite a bit at 15 ounces, so probably the heaviest one on this list. But for a casual shoe at that price point, like if you get these for under 75 bucks, I feel like that's a great value for what you get in the product. The overall construction on the upper looks pretty nice as well. The toe box section is a little bit of a softer mesh, and I like the design elements on the heel section as well. The way the tongue is constructed, it is fixed, but it reminds you of the Ultraboost 1.0 a little bit. But these probably offer the best value in the countdown if you can get these on sale, and overall comfort to value, I would say, is why these are on the countdown of the place they're at. So the number 5 spot on the list is a new one that I just got a couple months ago, and this is the Brooks Ghost Max. And I feel like this is the best version of the Brooks line that I've tried on my feet for just overall general comfort. The Ghost Max weighs about 10.3 ounces. It's a max cushion shoe for sure. You look at the midsole stack, it's huge. It does feature the DNA Loft V2 midsole, so it is a little bit softer and squishier. The weight is 10.3 ounces for my 9.5. The cushioning around the collar and the tongue is nice. The upper is kind of generic with the engineered mesh. The overall comfort in the midsole is where these things shine. It's definitely a lot of midsole foam. You can feel in the heel, you can feel in the forefoot. It's soft and squishy. It's not my favorite looking shoe, but the midsole stack is just so massive. But I had to include this one in the list because it is a new model, and I was actually very surprised that they actually came out with something that's more max cushion like, and happy that they did, and the execution of what they did was just right on where it needed to be. Very impressive pair, very comfortable, top 5 for the year. Which brings us to the number 4 spot on the list, and that is the Gel Nimbus 25 from Asics. This is a really, really comfortable shoe as well. Max cushion. The Nimbus 25 is about 10.6 ounces. They changed up everything from the 24 like crazy amounts. It's a really, really big plush pair of sneakers. Might be too much cushion for some people, to be honest. And these kind of have the same vibe overall from the Ghost Maxes. Again, very max cushion pair of sneakers. This one features the Pure Gel as well as the FF Blast Plus in the midsole. I do notice a little bit of the pure gel feel when I'm walking heel to toe, and it is a little bit odd at first, then you get used to it and it's quite comfortable. But I think that where this one shines is obviously the crazy midsole, very, very comfortable with the FF Blast Plus, but also the heel collar is probably one of my favorite ones on the countdown. I like what Asics does with their padding. It's just overall very plush feeling and comfortable. And also the tongue, the fact that it's like stretchy and knit is also really awesome. However, I don't like that they added the pull tab here because it does itch on the inside of your foot a little bit. But overall, like, man, these things are incredible on feet. And if you've tried these, again, leave a comment in the comment section. If you want to buy a pair, link in the description. These are finally on sale now as well for, I think, $120, $130, something like that. Definitely worth a look if you guys are interested. Asics has been doing a lot of great things, and this is one of my favorite ones that released. I didn't try the next Nova Blast 4 yet. I know that those are coming out, I think, close to this video, maybe a little bit after. And I will do a review on those as soon as I get them, which would be the alternative that I would mention over this one. However, if you're looking for more of a max cushion, this is it. The Nova Blast 3 or 4 is a really solid offering as well. So number 3 on the list, we're going with the On CloudSurfer. Something about this one specifically I absolutely love. They also do have the Cloud Monster as well as this new one that I have, the Cloud Eclipse. I haven't done the review on these ones yet, but I expect it very soon. This is like a max cushion version of this. But there's something about this CloudSurfer version that I actually prefer over this one, even though the stack of cushioning is bigger on the Eclipse. So I'll save the information about the Eclipse for the review video. These are really good if you want a bigger cushion stack though. However, the CloudSurfer to me is the one that I love because of the plushiness of the heel as well as the tongue. I don't know, it's something about it that just kind of wraps you up and like holds you snug, but like delicately. It's just a nice combination there. But the overall cushioning in this CloudTech Phase midsole, super solid, man. It definitely has a nice foam cloud-like sort of landing. I know when you think of On Cloud and if you tried some of their other stuff, it's just not soft like it looks like it's going to be with the pillars. But the way that they angled the midsole on this one and just changed up the foam a little bit, this is a softer foam than the original ones that I've tried. This is the one that I was like, okay, the construction on the upper is pretty nice. I like the reinforcements for the laces as well. But the overall experience on feet just kept me coming back to these ones through the year. And it's definitely the one that I'm like, okay, if I'm going to tell people about this On running brand, this is the one that I like the best out of like the 3 options for max cushion. And these weigh 8.5 ounces, which is pretty crazy. That's pretty light. And also these are about $160, which is cheaper than the Monsters and the Eclipses, I believe, as well. Number 2 spot on the list, that goes to the Nike Invincible Run 3 for me still. Even though the upper on here is not my favorite one, I honestly don't like it at all comparison to the version 1 and the version 2. But the midsole and the outsole and stuff and the way that they like just made it, it really can't be messed with. It really is that good. The best one comfort-wise from Nike in my opinion. These ones weigh in at about 11.1 ounces, so not on the lighter side, but you get a really nice crazy stack of foam here with Zoom X in the midsole, full-length Zoom X. The tongue is nicely padded with the knit and the neoprene on the inside, but the upper material is a little bit rough. Personally, that's my biggest complaint about the shoe. Also, when you're walking around in them, it does have like a weird sort of hollow feel because of that Zoom X, so some people might not like that, but overall comfort on feet, these things are incredible. They're also extra wide and stuff, so I love that. This is definitely the flagship from Nike's perspective of comfort sneakers, and they did a really good job on this one. Now, if you don't like these ones, then the Vomero 17s I think is a really good option as well. The Invincibles are about 180 though, so they're a little bit on the higher end. If you want a cheaper version, I think these are 110 or so for the Motivas from Nike. This is their walking sneaker. Very, very interesting pair, very comfortable. Overall, it feels like a takedown version of the Invincible Run in the best way possible. You have a lot of heel squish in here, and the heel-toe transition as you're walking around in these walking sneakers is really good. Motivas is another pair that I'm like, dang, like this is a lot of value for the price point. I believe the midsole is Cushionline 3.0, but a really awesome pair for $110 on the cheaper end of all the offerings that I'm showing you out here. A really solid alternative. And those weigh about the same as the Invincibles at 11.2 ounces. All right, we made it to the number 1 spot. If you guys enjoyed the video, drop a like on the video. And again, if you guys want to buy any of the shoes that I'm talking about, please use the links in the description. Before I get into the first one, a couple runner-ups that I wanted to mention. The Nike Vaporfly 3s, super lightweight, super comfortable, just too narrow in my opinion for casual usage. They're made for running straight for a reason, same as the Alpha Flies, and that's why they're not on the list. They're just too narrow for casual usage in my opinion. And the other one being the Adidas Prime X Strung 2. Absolutely love the midsole components in that one as well. Super soft, super comfortable, however, just a little bit too narrow for casual consumption. But Adidas is doing some really exciting things with Lightstrike Pro, and I really wish they would make an Invincible Run version of the Adidas with Lightstrike Pro in the midsole that has a wider base. I can't wait for them to actually listen to me and do this, because it's been like 2 years now of me waiting for something like that. They have the right technology for the soft squishy race. If they did that, it would be a top 3 contender, I'm positive. in my video for sure. Also, there's 3 brands that I didn't try yet this year for the latest and greatest version. I'm sure some of them would have ended up on this countdown. I just didn't buy all the shoes, unfortunately. One of them being the Puma Nitro line. There's a whole bunch of different models. I don't even know which one to try. If you guys have a suggestion for which one you guys think would be the best casual, leave a comment. Also, the Saucony Endorphin line. Obviously, the pros are like $200 or so. They have like 3 different versions. I don't want to spend $1,000 to try to determine which is the best from the casual. Again, if you guys have a suggestion. And then the Ultra line is another brand with A, Ultra. That one is one that I've heard a lot about as well. The midsole doesn't seem like anything too soft and squishy or anything like that. They seem like overall very solid running shoes, but I don't know which ones are going to cross over to lifestyle. Again, if you guys have a suggestion, always appreciate those. The number 1 spot on my list should be no surprise to most of you guys out there. We have 2 different ones from New Balance worth mentioning. And honestly, I was going to put these at different spots in the countdown, and I just figured I would just put them both as number 1 because they could have been like a 1 and 2, 2 and 3 sort of combination. Both of these are extremely, extremely good. I'll have a deep dive comparison between both of the models, but we have the New Balance Fresh Foam X 1080 V13, and then we also have the New Balance FuelCell SuperComp Trainer V2. Mouthful for those people that are new to the products. Let me just tell you though, these things are excellent. Now they have 2 different proprietary foams. The Fresh Foam X in the 1080 line. And this is the softest version of Fresh Foam X I've ever tried. Like, it's much, much softer than the previous version of this shoe. These weigh in at about 9.2 ounces. And this is a late contender, but one of those shoes that I'm just blown away by the fact that they made a better version of one of my favorite shoes from New Balance so far. The Fresh Foam line, again, has been revamped a little bit. These are softer on feet. Definitely feels like marshmallows and clouds in your feet as you're walking around. Fresh Foam X is typically the softer foam that you like land in, and more like a kind of more of a recovery feel that absorbs your shock but doesn't like necessarily bounce back. And on the opposite end of that, you do have the FuelCell line that's supposed to be their most responsive foam, so it does spring back. And from my experience, the FuelCell line is typically softer than the Fresh Foam line. And this version of the FuelCell is the best, in my opinion, that they have to release. It's the softest and squishiest on feet. Might be too soft and squishy for some people, and in that case I would definitely recommend the 1080s because they are pretty darn crazy on feet. The SuperComp trainers are 9.3 ounces as well, and they do feature a plate in this midsole which gives you a lot of propulsion as you're kind of walking and a lot of heel toe sort of motion. It does have a little bit of a rockerish feel, not super extreme like the Alpha Flies from Nike, but there is a rockerish feel. So some people might think that it is a little bit unstable because of that from the casual perspective. But I wore these at a convention in Seattle for a couple days this year, and it was perfect for carrying around my daughter on my shoulders. It would have probably been a little bit wobbly, but the overall width of the shoe is actually pretty nice as well, which is one thing I like about both of these. They do have wide options, and I get a wide version of the FuelCell line, and I get the standard version of the Fresh Foam. That's just the way I like it for my feet. Again, mine are just a little bit wide. If you're looking for a more breathable version and one that you're going to be running in more of, I'd say that the SuperComp trainers are pretty elite. If I had to choose just one of them at this point, I actually think I would go with the Fresh Foam X for the 1080 V13 because it is overall much more wearable than this pair is. I feel like the overall midsole in here is like the perfect combination for pretty much anything that I've tried. The upper is nice as well. You do have extra padding on the heel as well as the tongue, and you do have a detached tongue, which I do appreciate as well. I would say the lackluster part is just that engineered mesh upper. I wish they would have done the hypo knit instead, just because I like the stretchier feel of that, but some people might like the containment of the engineered mesh more. But that's my number 1 spot. Both of these from New Balance are absolutely incredible. Leave a comment in the comment section. What did I get right? What did I get wrong? I appreciate y'all for stopping by and watching. Again, if you guys use your links in the description to buy any of these products, it directly supports the channel and my family. Greatly appreciated for those people that do that. And if you guys have suggestions for other brands of sneakers that you guys would like to see in 2024, leave a comment, let me know, man. I'm always open to try new things, especially if you guys think that it kind of matches my profile of what I like in comfort sneakers, for those people that share that same sentiment. But appreciate y'all for stopping by and watching. Hopefully you guys have a good rest of your holiday, and hopefully we'll see you back for some more content soon. All right, peace, guys.